Bing. We're live. It's Sam Estadios. It is a Friday morning here. It's a Friday, and it's the Modern Fowler Scrum. And yes, so what I've just been in a pairing session with Ryder. We're working on the Paranauts, the Elixir Phoenix project. And yeah, I did a bit of a breakthrough in getting the presence system working yesterday, and we've made some good progress today. So that's all good. I've also been trying to work now that we've got the new premium subscription data model deployed. I'm trying to go through and work out all of that, get that fixed up. As in, well, now that we have the representation or a representation of sufficient power that will represent the way in which everything's working, I know to go and like tweak the data so that it is reflecting reality better. Didn't get as far on that as I wanted. So I'm not really blocked by anything. We've got well, there's lots of mobs. We've got React mob coming up, and we've got the Mook mob, Agile Dev, and Kent Beck and Async Voter, and that's about the size of things. How are things going with you, Stomatios?
Everything's going well. I'm working. I tried to check in the breadcrumbs issue, or rather the shortening of the method lines, and I ran into another issue that the number of lines in the class was too long after that. So I'm working on cleaning up that, and I realized also that a couple of the breadcrumbs were not added at all. For example, I'm looking at it right now on the volunteers page. If you go to, I guess, create a new volunteer opportunity from the organizations page, then the breadcrumbs only shows the home and volunteers.
Okay.
So I'm working on adding that and shortening the class length just for the organization in particular, organizational controller. And I expect to actually be done with this by today.
Okay.
I hope everything checks out correctly. But if that all turns out well, what would you recommend?
Well, good question. Yeah, well, let's just jumping back to I did. That's a funny kind of whack-a-mole thing. There is having removed the complexity from the method and extracted it into the class. Then we have the complaint that the class has too many. And I mean, there's what that's supposed to be pushing us towards is saying, okay, is there stuff that we can take out of this class? That means that does the class have too many responsibilities? But at the end of the day, it's kind of like these are the guidelines rather than like hard golden rules. So there's things to work on there. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, for this, I actually changed the approach altogether. What I was able to do is just add a method, which is going to call every single add breadcrumb based on whichever method was called. So it kind of like combines all that together, which is kind of the approach I wanted to go with in the beginning, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it. But it was actually, I was making it more difficult than it was.
Right. So in principle, the breadcrumb could ultimately be pulled up into the application controller?
Yeah, actually it could. I don't see why not.
Anyway, could proceed as you're going. I'll certainly be interested to see where you get to. Yes, and then you were sort of asking about future things, but I noticed that Nicola has just joined us, so we might just put a pin in that and check in with Nicola and see how Nicola is doing. Hey, Nicola, how are things going with you?
Fine. I did a check of all the air brake issues that were open in local support. I collected. I think that there are only 3 URLs that are failing, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know why. That one. I did a comment there because I don't know. I think that's strange. I would like to know why, because the other ones were not failing anymore. So that is my status.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for doing that. And yeah, this is a weird. We occasionally get these kind of like sick.
I saw it like several times. Yeah.
I think this might conceivably be when we run Rails console. I wonder if this is like yesterday in the local support meeting. I think you were there. We were looking at the click-throughs, and I was using the Rails console, and I wonder this might be like if I don't actively log out of that, the IRB session is left running, right?
Okay.
And then so basically when the IRB thing effectively times out because it doesn't have any connection with my system, then we end up with this.
It throws that error. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest to maybe this is Rails console going down after a hard. I mean I guess the way for me to avoid these in future, and for all of us using Rails, if we're doing Heroku run Rails console, is to explicitly then just Control D out of it at the end. Of course, the temptation not to do that is that it takes 15 seconds for it to connect up. So if you've got one open, you're tempted to leave it. That's what I end up doing. I leave it open, and then at the end of the day, when the computer goes to sleep, then that's when it goes down. But probably so we can. I guess the seems like Control D at the end of our Rails console sessions in Heroku might help us avoid this in future. So
nice.
And it's probably Ruby 2.1 because it's starting on my side, and that's like the default Ruby that I'm using in my when I do Heroku run Rails.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Great. Fantastic cleanup. Yeah. And good stuff. Yeah, it was interesting that you had some of the URLs that were failing were like .json URLs. And I guess that just must be old stuff, because like maybe we tried that. I think that was just like me trying it occasionally and thinking that we had. I think I remember. Yeah, I think those are just me poking at the system, thinking that we had a JSON endpoint, and we didn't.
Okay.
Pretty much what it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anything else blocking you or on your mind, or any plans?
No, nothing blocking me, and I will keep working with the Gibbon upgrade for the newsletter.
Yep. Gibbon. Excellent. All right. Yeah. Well, that's our Scrum. Stamatius was just anticipating finishing work on the breadcrumbs and wondering what to work on next, and that's a good question. Let's go and have a look at. Oh, that's not where I want to go with it. We can go and have a look at the board. Oh, what's that? What is going on there? Let's go pivotal. So what was I thinking is to look at the priorities here. Now I guess that was some random failure that Stella had that I wonder if that's been addressed. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, these various things in the backlog actually, Stamatios, I don't know if any take your fancy, but I would say that, we're not like desperate to add additional features at the moment, but I'd say all three of these things are, sensibly in the backlog. So one is this general issue of smoothing the onboarding process of, the documentation around it. There's all bits and pieces and things that people get stuck on when they're trying to that I think that's like, in terms of, for the longevity and the sustainability of the project, we kind of need to like, improve this, even if it's like, say, we're offering people like, pre-created C9 instances, or that's like a big thing, but might not sound that exciting to you. I mean, I think it's the real challenge of these kinds of projects. We do have this outstanding bug that when we're querying the volunteer opportunities that are coming in from Doit, some of them are like coming in from outside Harrow, and that means that sometimes if you're scrolling down the list of the volunteer ops, it like jumps to some volunteer up that's in a completely different part of the country, which is like not really relevant. And so there's kind of, it's almost like we need to kind of like, it's not clear if this is like, is this something that we're doing wrong or something with the data that's coming in? And just like, if that data is coming in, then we need to like kind of filter it and just say, okay, this is actually it's not providing us with the information that we want and we need to exclude it. And then finally, it's also like trying to sort out our, Node version for the system and locking us onto, I think we're on older versions of Node and NPM, and we should be on a more modern one where we can lock in the particular versions of the Node modules. Even this relates to like our build process where there's like Bower, and are we just using Node for like the install of one little thing? Is that even the right way to go? So all three somewhat esoteric things there. Do any of them pique your interest?
I would have to. I guess. I would have to look more into detail. I mean, I'd be interested in completing. I mean, anything that's a challenge, of course, I'd be interested in working. However, I remember in the past you had said that priority would be given to, I guess, those pull requests, which are like there's one here that I see, which was last updated in June 2017. So I don't know if I should be working on those or.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, so open pull requests. Well, so this one here, although it was opened on June 2017, it's actually been updated quite recently. We've got so the Francis who started on this is not around anymore, but Nick, who's a premium face-to-face member, and he's been doing pairing sessions with me. So you can see, like, I think, yeah, he like since I last looked at he's merged it in. He is still working on that and making progress. But you could certainly reach out to him, and if you were interested in pairing with Nick, that might be a possibility. We do have. And you're very much right that in some ways I guess particularly before starting new features, we should be trying to get the backlog of pull requests cleared out and sorted. Although, I guess none of these are critical bugs at the moment. So yes, we do have also this. Did he open a new one? Yeah, this search local events thing, which Lian Zong has been struggling with, and so you could certainly try and. That's another person, and he's upgraded to premium, and you could connect with him and see if he was interested in pairing. Yeah, that would be because I think he's kind of like blocked and sort of struggling, so he could certainly use some help. I think Nick is. Okay, but you could certainly offer to help either of them, particularly if you were interested in either of the two features.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'm gonna leave that up to you, and of course, feel free to just like other scrums or jump in Slack, and if you're thinking about going one with the other, or for any of them. I mean, they're of course supposed to be in the pull request and in the pivotal tickets enough information to work out what's going on, but of course sometimes there are things missing, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's our Scrum and our after pass, and actually this looks like that's where we've got this. I'm finding this very strange recently. Now here we've got code climate coverage. This is not. We have.
I also checked that, and I think that there are a couple lines that are not being tested, and you can go straight to them if you click. Yeah, there.
Yeah, and that's
volunteer ops helper.
This is telling me about. I mean, on website 1, we've got. I think this. I think the coveralls is just like not working at all, and reporting weird things. And here we've got code climate coverage, but then I'm going here. Or test coverage has gone from. But like, so this is a change in webmock.
Yeah.
Indicates that. But this is not telling me about the coverage here. Test coverage, 83%.
I think that the other, if you go to the source, maybe, because I saw that this coverage for one of them, maybe volunteer ops helper. There, coverage, yeah.
I got to click this. Okay. So that's pretty strange there, that a change in the webmock version would
it is
lead
making,
to...
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's kind of, yeah, that's something that should be looked into then, I would say. It's also good to see here the code climate coverage giving like back a sensible, at least seemingly sensible result. Like on website 1, the coveralls would come back and say, like, here you've dropped 36% coverage, and then there would be like, it would be all green when you looked at it here, and it'd be like, okay, you're just not making any sense. But yeah, okay, yeah. So that,
I like that from Code Climate. They tell you the exact line that you are missing.
And they do, and coveralls always used to do that, but then something about our configuration has gone strange, or about coveralls has gone strange, that it just seems to be giving like completely random output that I don't understand myself. Although maybe it's just coveralls is accurate and we really aren't, like according to coveralls, our test coverage in website 1 is down to like 26% or something ridiculous, which I find very difficult to believe.
Yeah.
But so that's definitely a chore for website 1. I would love to get sorted out. Is oh gosh, go on. What are we doing?
Maybe we can also do the configuration on website 1 for Code Climate.
Yeah, that's what I would love.
Because I mean, it's a configuration in Semaphore CI that you just need to push to Code Climate. So
yeah, I mean, we're already doing code quality checks.
Correct. Yep. We have an issue for that?
We have an issue here. This was about, I think, me trying to set it up.
No, I think that you don't have to use that variable anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe just completely... I mean, I'm going to open an issue here for, let's just say, like, coveralls seems a little crazy.
Do I have access to Semaphore CI for the maybe I can do the configuration?
Yeah, I'm just putting in here. It says like thinking to switch to code climate coverage. That's let's submit the issue. I'll just like, if we see the coveralls is down there as saying like 26%.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess it's been saying that that's not tested, but we have tests for that. I mean, maybe it's like we've lost the connection with the connection to the cucumber test or something, or what have you. I mean, and I mean, it wouldn't be or fix coveralls. I mean, either way, it's nice to be using different things. But yeah, I could try and set. So if we go to Semaphore, I can set you up with access to this, and then you can. So one of the things I dislike about Semaphore is that the configuration is not stored in a separate YAML file. It's
no, you have it right there. The configuration is there.
It's all in there. So here I need to go to project settings, and then we've got, now we'll find somewhere in here. There's like team. Yeah. Anyway, I'll find it and add you.
Yeah, just let me know, and I will try it.
Fantastic. All right, there we go. That's our Scrum. Thanks very much. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.